couple of more questions on General Bipin Rawat, the soldier, and the statesman, and the leader, and the kind of leadership he provided for India during the border standoff with China. In fact, he has been continuously saying that the Chinese threat is very real and present. How would you understand his responses with regard to the Chinese threat to in India?
Um, General Rawat has had a lot of experience in the eastern sector against the Chinese border because he commanded his battalion there. He was also the corps commander in that area. He was uh, the MGGS Eastern Command. That's the as a Major General, an appointment where you control all the operational issues of the entire Eastern Command.
Hmm.
So he has very varied and rich experience of confronting the or of managing the Chinese border. Now, at in the last few years, what he has done, especially as the army chief and the CDS put together, and together that makes it 5 years. No one has been in that long a command in India. So, in these 5 years, he has worked very determinedly, and he's made us, the armed forces as well as the nation, shift focus. We were always Pakistan centric, and Pakistan has been waging a very low cost to them a low cost proxy war by sending in terrorists, by creating terror and other information warfare, etc. Whereas we were always focused there because that was a day to day happening. Before and after Doklam, General Rawat managed to shift our focus very rightly in saying China is our number one adversary and we must prepare for that because we had started becoming too much, our preparation, our attitudes have become more towards JK, and I'm talking of us as army more than or armed forces. So, coming back to your question, we got a more an orientation. Now, I don't want to go into details whether it was realigning some of the forces, additional forces to operate against China, because all forces were, the bulk of the forces were aligned or oriented towards the West, or several other concepts that he was trying out and integrated battle groups, etc. So, plus the push that he gave to the infrastructure, because on the Chinese borders, along with these borders in the LEC, we really require more roads that can connect up places where the troops can get deployed much faster, as it is there on the Chinese side. He also gave a great boost to modernization, because against the Chinese army, we also require all the modern, I beg your pardon,
Yeah.
the modern technologies at play. So, to that extent, excuse me,
Yeah, sure. And the
he
infrastructure on the border, across the borders, sir. I think that was also a push, a strategic push that he, along with other people, obviously, and sort of pushed for that too. The infrastructure development alongside our borders with
uh,
China.
uh, yes, absolutely, and I mentioned that, the infrastructure. He gave a lot of push to infrastructure. He and so we ended up in having infrastructure, much better infrastructure than we had before. The build up of the Chinese in Ladakh last year was one of the major. In fact, if you have to pick out single biggest factor, was their objection to the road that we constructed to the DBO, Daulat Beg Oldie, the airfield
Yes.
that we have in the northernmost part of our country, in which helps us in operational in a great measure. So, the point is, overall, with all this, General Rawat, both while he was army chief and then as a CDS, has managed to put our attention this side. Our budgetary allocations were much lower, but after the China issue flared up last year, we got several emergency purchases from foreign and domestic manufacturers for as far as modernization is concerned, and several more are in the pipelines. So I think yes, it is a great thing that is done.